guys, welcome to the channel. This is the Masses Thread. Today on the channel I'll be showing you how to make this trendy flake gown with a lapel effect, as you can see, and also a cut together pocket. So this is just like a bubble gown, and it's cut together sleeves, cut together pocket. If this is something you want to learn how to make, you want to keep watching, and if you're yet to subscribe, do that, and let's get started. So I have my fabric. I'm using a liquid Mikado. I have my black fabric. It's not up to a yard, just a little piece of it. And then for the bigger fabric, I have 2 yards. So you can use any fabric of your choice, but I'm using 2 yards for mine because I want this short and the flay isn't much, okay? But if you want your flay to be bigger, please use 2.5 to 3 yards, especially if you're using an Ankara fabric. Now what I did was to go ahead to fold my fabric into 4 places. I'm folding this by the yardage so that I have this, the sleeve area will be longer, okay? So, but if you want yours to be bigger, you want to have a longer sleeve, go ahead and use 2.5 to 3 yards of fabric. You can also use the same fabric like I'm using. So I'm cross-checking to ensure that the length I have it works perfectly. I'm going ahead to iron it down, okay, so that my fabric can relax while I'm working on this. So these are really 2 important things to take note of when you're working with this type of fabric. So now that my fabric is ready, I'm going to start taking my measurements. So you can see that I have the close end at the top. So the top part is going to serve as a skirting. From this end here, I'll go ahead and mark a neck width of 3.5 inches, and then a neck depth for the back of 1.5 inches. Okay, and I will connect that part together firstly. So we're marking the front and the back together. We're cutting everything together, so don't get confused, okay, while we're marking the back. Now for the front neck depth, what I'm going to use for my first is to go down from the skirting, that's from the top. I'll go down by 3 inches and I will connect it firstly. So the front neckline has a slit where we have that lapel effect. So the first neck depth for the front is 3 inches, and then for the sleeve length, go ahead and mark half of your shoulder, and then also add how long you want your sleeve to be. So you can try to exhaust the entire fold of your fabric for that. Okay, that's for your sleeve effect. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm marking half of my shoulder measurement firstly, and then from that point I'm going ahead to place the length of sleeve I want to work with. Like I said, you can go ahead to make this as long as you want, okay, depending on the quantity of fabric you have left. Now at that point, I'm going down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and I'm going to connect from my neck width to meet that point, okay. You just go ahead and use a rule and connect from your shoulder, from the sleeve area where you came down by 1 inch to your neck width. So I'm just connecting them together. Simply means we're going to be cutting it off. Our shoulders isn't going to be joined together. But if you want your shoulders to be joined together, you don't want to cut that off, you can as well do that. What you have to do is that you're going to omit doing your shoulder slope. Now from the shoulder slope area, I'm going to come down by the sleeve opening. I'm using 10 inches for mine, and I'll make a straight line from that shoulder slope to that point, okay, to indicate it. So while I'm cutting, I'm not confused, and I just came in a little bit at that point. So now what I'm going to do is to take quarter of the round bust measurement. That's the measurement I'm using. My round bust is 36 divided by 4 is 9, and then I'll add an extra inch to that. So you can use 4 to 5 inches, you can use 5 inches, you can use 6 inches, depending on how free you want your gown to be, depending on how fitted you want it to be. So I used 4 inches for mine. So now I'm going to just connect it to that line I came in by, okay. So this is where we're going to have here. So from the bust area, we're going to go out to have that A-line effect. So you just use your rule and just connect it to the full length. But then at this area, we don't need to have it straight. It needs to like have a curve. So I came out by 1 inch from that angle I have there, okay, to create my curve, as you can see, so that by the time you stitch it down, it's not going to be pulling around the armhole area. You must have noticed that while making some outfits for yourself. So I'm trying to ignore having that. So that is the solution to that. ensure to come out at that point by 1 inch so that it is not straight. Instead it has a curve. Now from that end, I'm going to just create a curve through my full length. You can see the fabric isn't long. If you want yours longer, use more fabric. And also at this point, okay, I think I should have flayed it more out, but I did not. So I advise you to flay it more out, okay, to have that flay effect more, if that is what you want. So you can just flay it off to the end of, like, to the sharp end of the fabric fold which you have there. Now for the cut together sleeve, we're going to be marking this right now. So what you want to do is to mark from your chest line to where your half length is, okay, and then from the half length you want to now mark the sleeve opening. So from the half length, my half length, I came down by 1 inch, made a mark. I firstly marked my half length, then I came down by 1 inch from the half length, I made a mark, and then I'm now extending the sleeve opening. You can see that I went back to mark this from the half length area, and I'm using my free hand to just create a curve for the size of sleeve I want. So I decided to increase the size of the sleeve since this other part of the fabric won't be used okay anymore. So I just decided to increase that. So if you want to make yours bigger, go ahead and just extend that to make it bigger, okay. And if you don't want to add pockets, you can as well omit that. So I think this just makes this looks nice, and your length can be longer than what I have, but I think a short length just gives it a certain kind of beauty. And I'm going in with my scissors to just cut it out, starting from the base. So trim it off in a way that your lengths, they are equal both for the front and the back. It's very important. We don't want one longer than the other, so we're going with matching lengths. Go ahead and trim it off in a way that both of them are matching, and just watch how I'm cutting, making cuts on this in case you don't know how to do that, so you're not confused. So you can see where my sleeve pattern followed. Like I said, if you want for yours, go ahead and extend your sleeve length. I should have done mine for mine, but I really didn't think about it while I was doing this. So go ahead and extend and cut off the shoulder areas. After that, you want to cut off the back neckline. Then after doing that, remove the inner piece that's going to serve as the back. I'm going to just take it off, then fold back the piece I have my lines on. This is going to be the front piece. Now for the front piece, we're still going to mark the neckline, cut out the front neckline. That's why we need that separated from the back, so that we don't make the mistake of cutting the both of them together. So I hope you understand well what I'm trying to explain. All right, so now that we have this down, let's start working on our front piece so that we can start stitching our dress together. So I'm going to make sure that the front neckline is aligned properly. It's important for these things to match. And after that, go ahead and take off the marking we have for the neck area. Now from this marking here, I'll be coming down by 5 inches, okay, to create that slit effect. So if you want yours to be deeper, if you want to go down more, you can do that, but note that you taking this lower just increases your cleavage area becomes more exposed. The lower you go, the more exposed your cleavage is. That's just the truth. So now I'm going to bring in my pattern. I'm going to the black pattern. This is what we'll be using along the neck area to create that lapel effect. So you want to place this on fold. Also place your piece, that's the front piece, on fold also. Lay them together so that the center front areas are matching. You can see I'm taking my time to do this. Ensure that they are aligning properly before you start cutting, so you don't have any wasted fabrics, okay. And after doing that, go ahead and trace the neckline, trace the shoulder areas. We're just going to use some part of the shoulder areas. Go ahead and trace that. So I'm going to take this off and just take off this other part. You can see how I'm tracing this. Now I'm going to make the same extension I had for the front, which is 5 inches for that slit. So I just went ahead to mark it here also, and I will open up that end so that when I'm stitching with the front, it's going to align perfectly. So these are the things you need to take note of. And at the edge, I'm just going to create a curve to take off the other parts, which I will not be needing for this. So now that we've done that, this is what we have. I'm going to open up my piece so that you see what I have here. So this is the front. You can see the slits, and you can see how shiny this fabric is. Okay, this is a liquid Mikado for those of you who want to know the fabric. And then also for the back. So this is how we're going to place it. When we get to the machine, you're going to stitch it this way for it to be secured. Okay, go ahead and pin that and keep it aside. And then we're going to cut a facing for the back. If you're a regular on this channel, you know we always cut facings. Okay, we usually use facings. We use facings more. We don't use bias. But if you don't have enough fabric and you want to use a bias, you can do that. If you have a plain fabric, you can also use that to just turn the neckline of the back, especially if you're making the outfit for yourself. Alright, just take note of these little things. So we're going to cut the facing for the back. Let's go ahead and fold this up. We just need a little piece for the facing for the back. So we place it the same way you did for the front, center front to center front. Ensure that they are aligning properly. Then you go in with your scissors, trace the neckline, trace some part of the shoulders, and then take it off. Then just cut off the excess because you will not be needing much of this. So just like we did for the front, we're going to open this up to the right side, place the right side of this thing together, and then go ahead and stitch. So this is what the front looks like after I turned it. I actually stitched it on top again so that it stays. Now for that collar effect, the lapel collar effect, you bring in your iron, your pressing iron. Then you're going to fold up this part. You can see that I'm folding it in a way that the black fabric I have inside is now showing on the outside, and then iron it down very well. Like, ensure that you're doing the ironing very well. Place it in a way that you iron it and it's going to relax. Now if you're working with a fabric that after ironing and it doesn't relax, go ahead and use your hand needles to just stack it at a point where it's going to stay relaxed. All right, so ensure to iron this properly so that it stays relaxed and it is not moving about. So this is what I have for mine after I finish doing that. So this is our front. You can see that lapel effect already and it's looking nice. So now we're going to bring in the back. I've also gone ahead to turn it with my facing. I'll align the shoulders together so that I can stitch it down. So I actually stitched again. Okay, after stitching with my facing, I turned it to the wrong side and stitched it again so that it stays. So I'll just go ahead and stitch, and after that I'm going to hem the sleeve area. So this is what it looks like after I join the shoulders. I've also hemmed the sleeve areas together. Now we're going to align it by the side so that we can stitch. I'll be showing you how to stitch this perfectly so that you don't have your armhole curve area dragging. So now we're going to stitch by 1 inch from the tip, and then when you get to that curve area, please don't stitch too deep. Okay, then go ahead and stitch the other part, stitch the pockets. So this is what it looks like after I finish. So this is what it is right now. You can see the armhole part is not dragging. I've not ironed this yet. By the time I give this a good press, it's going to be so relaxed. And this is our pockets there. And now for this, I want to add like the black effect to the hem so that it matches perfectly. Now to do this, before then, you know, we're cutting this out. We cut this out with a sharp edge. Okay, so we're going to curve the ends of our gown a little bit. Okay, it's important. So we're trying to achieve that flare effect and not an A-line. So we're going to curve the edge effect, the edge a little bit. So I'm just going with my scissors. I didn't mark this, but from my calculations, we're just 1 inch, taking it off 1 inch from the edge to just create a curve so that it is not straight at that end. Now to add the black fabric to the end, I'll go in with my tape and I'll measure it all around. You want to start from one side joining to measure, take your time, measure it properly to the other side joinings. Please, you can also omit this if you don't want to add it, but I just felt like this would give it a little more, you know, make it stand out a little more. So that's why I just did that. So I'm going to just measure this round, ensure that you're taking the accurate measurement. After that, I've gone ahead to cut out my fabric. Now this is the fabric I have. On fold, I have this 3.5 inches. So I cut this out, joined it at the places I need to join, and then ironed it on fold in a way that on fold is 3.5, but opened up it is 7 inches. So now I'm going to place this together with my main gown. We're going to align them together then go ahead and pin them round. So you're aligning the parts that are open. You can see how this is, so that the folded parts, the closed end, will now be on the other side. By the time you finish stitching, you don't need to hem the other part. That's what I'm trying to achieve. So I'm going to pin this all round. Alright, if you're the type that doesn't like pinning, it's not how will I put it? It's not so stressful. I think pinning just helps, so that by the time you get to your machine, it's easier for you to, stitch this without having issues, and also to note if it is equal, because my fabric is already closed. The ends are closed. It's already round, closed. There's no opening. So if you don't like pin this to know if one side is bigger, so that you can make adjustment, by the time you stitch it down and then it's not equal, you losing, fix it. So that's just what I'm trying to avoid. I'm just taking my time to, pin this all around. And if you're here and you are yet to like this video and you're yet to subscribe to the channel, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Okay, that's just a way to encourage me to keep on doing what I do. So when you've ensured that you've done this properly, you've pinned this rightly like you should, then you take this to the machine and you stitch it down. Okay, so I'll ensure that I've pinned it well. I actually took my time to pin this well because I didn't want to do the stitch and lose. Okay, I actually don't like losing after I finish stitching. You know that if you're used to sewing, it's actually stressful. So I'll take this to the machine now and I'll stitch this by 1/2 inch together. So this is what it looks like after I finished. And after stitching, give this a really good press. Like, give your entire gown a really good press so that you can enjoy wearing this, because you need to, and ensure to overlock the rough edges inside of your dress, right? So this brings us to the end of the video. Like I said, if you're yet to subscribe to the channel, do well to subscribe. If you have any comments, leave it in the comment section. I'll do well to answer to them. Thank you for watching. Turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. See you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.